In this video, I will be sharing the things I have learned in my 40 years of being here. Let's get started. Welcome to my channel where we have conversations about life and people and everything else in between. My name is Leah. So the first thing I have learned is that you can't afford to be too carefree in life. The truth is that at some point your actions will catch up with you. Okay, so it is okay to have a little bit of fun, but in life there has to be limits. There has to be boundaries, because if you take it too far, if you're too relaxed in life, if you're too carefree in life, it doesn't take long for at some point your actions will catch up with you. Why do I say this? I used to work with some people in some company, and I saw people accrue, buy big cars, on loan. I saw people get into debt. I saw people get into relationships too quickly, or change relationships so fast, with this person today, with the other person tomorrow. I saw all people do different things so quickly, too carefree, just throw all caution to the wind. And by the time I left that company, by the time I was in about my 7th year, the same people who did these kind of things, who did these things, were unrecognizable. They had reaped the results of poor decision making. Some were getting fired. They had made little or no investments at all with with the salary they made. This was a good company that paid very well. It was a, beautiful place to work for. And sometimes I think when people are exposed to this kind of environments, the money goes to their heads and they really, really forget where they came from. But most importantly, they lose track of the fact that they forget that tomorrow is going to come. So in life, you need to make sure that you strike a balance. Do not engage in things that will leave you regretting. Let not today poison your tomorrow. Okay? The other thing I have learned in my 40 years of being here is that you are the person who decides how the world will treat you. As a person who is in her second marriage, I have learned this. I learned this the hard way. That the world gives you what you are giving to yourself, and the world gives you what you tell them to give you. If you accept disrespect, that is exactly what you are going to find. I have seen these kind of things in my life so many times. And the minute that you decide that people will treat you a certain way, people have no choice but to treat you exactly the way you ask them to treat you. Okay, so you set the standard. The other thing I have learned is that faith is so important. Faith is so important. I find the older I'm getting, the more I'm realizing that faith is not just something that is nice to have. Faith is a must have. When I was in my 20s and I was struggling to find a job, struggling with relationships, struggling with so many things, I wish at that point I learned to actually have faith, believe that I am not doing life alone, and that is such an important thing, because when you have faith, whatever life throws your way, you know that you will make it, because you have a higher power. You have faith in yourself. Which also takes me to the other thing I have learned, which is point number 4, is that it is so important to be kind to yourself. Life is not easy. Life is hard. You will make mistakes. You will be laid off from jobs. You will have problems in your relationships. You will have problems parenting. You will have all sorts of issues, all sorts of things that will come at you. And when you go through such things, you need to remind yourself to be kind. Kindness is understated. Kindness is a beautiful thing. Be kind to yourself. And kindness looks like looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, you know what, I may have done this wrong. You know what, I probably didn't get this right. You know what, I'll forgive myself for this. I will try again next time. That's okay. It's beyond me. I keep it moving. I can't change this situation, but you know what, I've got enough strength to keep going. Kindness is such an important thing, and kindness is something that I have learned, and I'm asking you as well to remind yourself, please be kind to yourself. Point number 5 that I have learned is that you need to set a standard for yourself and stick to it. As I said, back to that company that I used to work for, there were people who had standards. They knew that I can't do this. They knew that you can't talk to me like that. They knew that, oh no, I can't accept this. And I looked at those people, and of course there were other people who saw these people as being proud, as being snobbish, as thinking too good about themselves. But the truth is, at the end of the day, we respected people who had their own standards. We respected people who had decided, these are my boundaries. You do not come here. You do not push. Okay. So, and I learned that if you go through life having standards for yourself, it is going to be a beautiful thing, because you're not going to be easily swayed into things that don't fulfill you. If you have standards for yourself, you decide for yourself the quality of life you're going to have, the quality of relationships you're going to have, the quality of income you're going to earn. You decide which jobs you can take and which jobs you will not take. You decide the kind of friends you're going to have. You decide for yourself. So have standards. Form those standards very early on in life. That is one thing I learned. It has taken me 40 years for me to learn that. The other thing is that the earlier you start to train your body, the better it works as you get older. I began training when I was 28. I had no idea what I was doing. I got right into that treadmill and I ran. I look back and I realized that was not a good idea, because I did not know how to set. I didn't even know that I needed to warm up. I had no idea that I needed to stretch. I had no idea. I just got into that and I did it. But that set the tone for my life. At my age, I thank God I can run. I am of good health. I don't take medication for anything. I thank God for that. But it's because I started to train my body early enough. It has been over 2 decades of me training. Oh, not 2 decades. It has been over a decade of me training, working very hard to make sure that I stay fit, I stay healthy from the inside out. Not only has it helped me in a healthy way, but it has also really helped my mental health. It has helped me to think straight. It has helped me in moments when I felt like there was brain fog. I knew what to do. So begin to train your body. Unfortunately, I have also seen the opposite happen. I have close friends who are in and out of hospitals. Unfortunately, I have seen the opposite happen to people that I know of. People who have worked all their lives, they are meant to be retiring right now. They are meant to be enjoying, the money that they've worked for. They're meant to be going on holidays, but they are in and out of hospitals. There's a surgery after surgery after surgery. There is physio. There are all sorts of things. They have to do a whole change in the things they eat, in their diet. And I just, for me, I feel sorry for them, but I look at them and I say these things that I wish other people would know. That if you start early looking after your body, eating healthy, training your body, exercising your body, staying fit, when you're older, your body will look after you. And the last thing that I want to say is this. Please know what works for you and what does not. This is such an important thing. It took me so many years for me to realize, you know what? I actually do not enjoy partying late into the night. I actually do not enjoy after parties. I don't enjoy going out all the time with friends. I don't enjoy it. But when I was growing up, or before I came to that realization, that was the norm. That was the norm. We grew up with people. We went out. But I realized that when I left such places, I came home and felt empty. I came home and felt like I could have done this, I could have done this, I could have done that. So basically, I was growing into my own self-awareness. And let me tell you something. There is nothing as important as knowing what works for you and what does not. And the time to start is early. When you know what works for you and what doesn't work for you, you will spend your energy filling yourself up as opposed to draining yourself. You will spend your time just understanding who you are. You spend your time working and harnessing your energies than wasting it in things that do not work. Okay, self-awareness is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. So there you go. Those are the lessons I have learned in my 40 plus years of being here. I'm curious to know what of these resonated with you, which of these you agree with, which of these you feel you can add to. Drop a line in the comment section. I will see you in the next video, and thanks for tuning in.